Hello children, once again I am here with a new video, and this is actually a continuation of the topic atmospheric pressure and winds. Okay, and in this video we are going to discuss about the pressure belts. Now, according to the different pressure conditions what we find over the earth's surface, right, in on the entire earth, the distribution of pressure on different areas according to the different latitudes, we generally consider that we study under overall, we call it as the distribution of global horizontal pressure conditions, right? And when we study about that, we find that there is a zonal, certain feature is there in certain areas within certain latitudes. We find some similarity is there. Okay, such as I can tell you one example. Suppose we are talking of the equatorial low pressure belt, right? So you will find almost from 0 degree to 5 to 10 degree, basically till 5 degrees north and south. That is a zone which is formed, right? And now what happens in this zone is actually because of extreme high temperature, extremely low pressure develops, right? This extreme low pressure belt which is formed, the zone which is formed, is called by the name pressure belt. Similar such belts are formed on the earth as a whole. Again, I'm repeating, pressure belts are certain, you can say, the zone in which a particular type of pressure condition continues. It exists throughout the year, right? Permanently it happens. Okay, and accordingly we have divided such pressure belts on earth. We in total we can say there are 7 pressure belts. Clear? One pressure belt is common, or you can say it is the equatorial low pressure belt. And as we go towards the northern hemisphere, towards the North Pole or towards the South Pole, both ways you will find 3 more pressure belts are there which are similar in the northern and southern hemisphere. Similar means if you say towards north when we go, that is called the subtropical high pressure belt, right? Now in the north when we go, it is called as subtropical high pressure belt in the north, or the other way we can say the northern subtropical high pressure belt. Same way, the similar belt is formed in the southern hemisphere also, but because it is in south, so it is called as southern subtropical high pressure belt. Same way, the next one in the northern hemisphere, it is called the circumpolar, or many times it is also called as the subpolar low pressure belt, right? So when it is in north, it is the northern subpolar low pressure belt, and in south it is southern subpolar low pressure belt. And the same way, when we further move towards the North Pole and the South Pole, very close to the poles, you will find again a very high pressure exists, right? And this actually results into the formation of again a pressure belt which is having very high pressure throughout, and that is called as the polar high pressure belt. So when we talk about the northern hemisphere, it is the northern polar high pressure belt. When we come towards the south, it is called the southern polar high pressure belt, right? So in total we are getting 7 pressure belts on the earth. Equatorial low pressure belt is common, and rest 3 are there in the north and south. Okay, so 6 and plus 1, that makes 7 pressure belts over the earth. Clear? Now how these pressure belts are formed? First of all children, you should understand one thing. what is the basic reason behind the formation of pressure, atmospheric pressure? The most important reason is the variation in temperature conditions. So over the earth, just think of it, when we talk about the different pressure belts, two extreme conditions we can easily find. One is very hot, that is close to the equatorial region, and one is very cold, that is over the poles. So over equatorial region, throughout the year, the temperatures are very high. And because of very high temperature, what happens there? You can see here in front of you in the picture, this part we are talking about the equatorial region, okay? Right? Now over the equatorial region, throughout the year, when the temperatures are very high, what happens then? It causes the air also to get hot, right? And this hot air, always the hot air, children, it gets lighter in weight, okay? The hot air becomes lighter in weight and it rises up. You can see here the warm air over the equatorial region, you can see equator and close to it, almost 5 degrees north and south. This is the region which is coming under the equatorial low pressure belt. And why it is low pressure belt? This is going to be clear by this picture. You can see it's a high temperature area. So because of that, the air which is lying over there, that also becomes warm or hot. As it gets hot, it starts rising up. Okay. So when the air rises up, children, it actually over the equator, it is rising up. Clear? So it starts moving towards both the sides. On one side towards the northern hemisphere, the other side towards the southern hemisphere. Right? So this creates a low pressure to develop over there because all the air has gone up. So thus it creates a low pressure there in the equatorial region. And that is why always this area is called as equatorial low pressure belt. Belt, that is zone in which always equatorial region has got low pressure. Now after this, you can see here, as this air rises up, on the other side, when it starts cooling down, suppose at a greater height it has become cool now, right? As it gets cool, this cool air starts descending, right? It starts coming down, and as it descends, almost it is the region where you will find a little beyond the two tropics, right? Almost between 30 degrees and 35 degrees north and 30 to 35 degrees south on both the sides of the equator, right? In the northern hemisphere, 30 to 35 degrees north and 30 to 35 degrees south in the southern hemisphere. This is the zone in which this entire air after getting cool, it subsides down, or you can say it descends down. Okay, it settles down because it has become cool. So it is now getting heavier. When it gets heavy, it starts settling down. And when it settles down, it creates a high pressure to develop there, right? And that is called as the subtropical high pressure belt. It creates a high pressure to develop, so it is high pressure belt because it is lying very close to the tropics, okay, not within the tropical zone. Otherwise, it would be called by the name tropical high pressure belt because it is beyond the tropics, okay, between 30 to 35 degrees north and 30 to 35 degrees south. So this is called by the name subtropical high pressure belt. Now come to the next one. Next is again similar condition happens, children, when we are talking about the subpolar low pressure belt and polar high pressure belt. Again, let's talk about the polar high pressure belts first. Okay, both these, suppose over the North Pole and the South Pole, you can say almost between 75 degrees to 90 degrees north and 75 degrees to 90 degrees south. That is the region where permanently it's extreme cold condition. So that creates because of cold condition, naturally the air surrounding air which is present in that area, that gets a very high pressure because that gets heavier. Because of very low temperature, the air gets very heavy. And when it gets heavier, it settles down. This creates a very high pressure to develop permanently over the polar region. Just like a permanent condition is there over the equatorial region. Same way, over the polar region also you will find because this air descends down, right, because of very high pressure condition which develops over there. So over the polar region, when we are talking about the high pressure belts, there, because of permanent low temperature, extreme low temperature is there, so it causes a high pressure to develop, right? Why? Because when the air gets cold, air gets cool, it always gets heavier, and because of that, in the polar region it settles down, thus creating a very high pressure region to develop, and that is known by the name polar high pressure belt. Now what about the subpolar low pressure belt? Now children, one thing you should understand, because of the factors which we have discussed in the earlier video that affect the atmospheric pressure, right? In all those factors, if you remember, one important factor is the centrifugal force, right? And this centrifugal force is created because of the rotational movement of earth, right? This centrifugal force works a lot in the creation of the subpolar low pressure belt or the circumpolar low pressure belt, because when the high pressure belt is developed over the polar region, that makes the winds to blow from that high pressure to the circumpolar low pressure belt, right? This wind starts blowing towards the circumpolar region. Now over the polar region, what happens is the air, whatever air is there, it is thrown out over the circumpolar region around, you can say, 60 to 70 degrees north and 60 to 70 degrees south, okay, including that the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle region. Okay, so that entire zone is the zone in which you will find the air, whatever air is there, is basically it is thrown out because of the centrifugal force, and that is the reason which creates a low pressure to develop over that area, right, over that zone. And that's why it has got the name, because it is surrounding the polar region. That's why it is called as circumpolar or it is called as subpolar. And because the air has been thrown out, creating a low pressure to develop over there, so it is called as the circumpolar or the subpolar low pressure belt. When it is there in north, it is called the north circumpolar low pressure belt. When it is in the south, it is called as the south circumpolar or subpolar low pressure belt. Clear? So this is about the subpolar low pressure belt. So in total, what we have got, all the formation of pressure belts take place over the earth in this manner. Basic reason behind that is that variation in temperature conditions, okay, and which creates the movement of winds, right? The movement of winds, it can be, suppose warm air rises up, cold air descends down, okay, or from high pressure the winds start blowing towards low pressure. So all that happens, basically the most important reason behind that is the temperature. Variation in temperature conditions makes a variation in the pressure conditions to develop, right? And this creates the winds, which ultimately results into several pressure belts. Okay, now all these pressure belts are actually responsible for the movement of winds also over the entire earth, especially a type of wind which is called as the permanent winds. Now this is about the all pressure belts, children, right? We are going to discuss about these winds in the next video. Clear? But before that, I must tell you one very important topic related to this. Now you can see all the pressure belts which are formed here, which I have discussed just now with you all, right? The first low pressure belt, this is actually the equatorial low pressure belt, okay? It is close to the equator on both the sides, till 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south. Okay, it is called as equatorial low, or it is also many times termed as doldrum. Okay, next is subtropical high pressure belt, or it is also called as the horse latitudes. And this is subtropical high pressure belt between 30 to 35 degrees north and south. Clear? Next come to circumpolar low pressure belt. Circumpolar low pressure belt in the north and south. It lies between almost 60 degrees north to 65 or 70 degrees at the most north, 60 to 70 degrees north and 60 to 70 degrees south latitudes. Okay, this is called as circumpolar low pressure belt. And the last one is called the polar high pressure belt, and it covers the polar region. You can see here both the sides, right? So when it is in the north, it is north polar high pressure belt, and in the south it is called as south polar high pressure belt, right? So over the equatorial region, you can see here why the low pressure develops, because the air rises up. You can see here ascending air. It has been shown in this, right? The air ascends, that means it is rising up, and as it starts moving towards both the sides, it gets cool. Again it subsides down, or you can say it descends down within the range of 30 to 35 degrees in the north and south, and that is why it develops into a subtropical high pressure belt. Okay, same way you can see the polar high pressure belt already we know, which we discussed just now in the earlier part. This polar high pressure belt causes the winds to blow towards the circumpolar low pressure belt, right, from both the sides. Because it is actually from the polar region, the winds get actually these are thrown out towards the equatorial region. Clear? Now when these winds reach here, this is actually over the circumpolar low pressure belt, the air is thrown outwards, right? It is thrown away from it towards the equatorial region, thus creating a low pressure to develop over there. And it is having a little high temperature comparatively from the polar region. So it is because of high temperature. Moreover, the air, especially the reason behind it is the centrifugal force, which works in the creation of a low pressure to develop over the circumpolar region, or you can say the subpolar region. So this is called as the circumpolar low pressure belt. And the last one, polar high pressure belt, you all know it very well, between almost 75 to 90 degrees north and 75 to 90 degrees in the south. This is called the north polar high pressure belt and the south polar high pressure belt. Okay, this is actually about the all pressure belts on the earth. You can see here one is common, the equatorial low pressure belt, and rest three are having the same name, but as according to the hemisphere where we are moving, as we go towards north, it will be north subtropical high, north circumpolar low, north polar high, and same way as we move towards the south, it is going to be south subtropical high, south circumpolar low, and south polar high. This is how it works. Or if there's a way how you can remember this, these are present in alternate way, right? High low in this way. If you start from the north pole, this is a polar high pressure belt. Next is circumpolar low, again it is high, again equatorial low, again subtropical high, then circumpolar low, and again polar high. So all these are present in alternate manner. Now children, another important topic is there related to this, is the shifting of pressure belts. Now for that, you should understand one thing. What is the basic reason behind the formation of these pressure belts? Just now in the earlier part we have discussed that. The basic reason behind that is the variation in temperature conditions. And how the variation in temperature condition happens? What is the main source of heat? That is sun. So basically, what is the basic reason behind the shifting of pressure belts? You should understand one thing. The sun is the main reason behind that. Okay? Because the sun is behind the formation of various pressure belts. Ultimately, what we are talking of, the variation in temperature, and variation in temperature is because of the variation of you can say the amount of insolation received at different places, right, over different latitudes of the earth. So basic reason behind that ultimately is sun. Now how does shifting take place? For that you should understand one thing. There is an apparent movement of sun towards the north and towards the south. Basically, when we talk about the two equinoxes, okay, the two equinoxes, that is the 21st of March and 23rd of September. These two are the days when the sun is overhead on the equatorial region. And when the sun is overhead on the equatorial region, naturally it will cause maximum insolation over the equatorial region, right? So that creates actually the ideal condition for the development of equatorial low pressure belt, and accordingly the other pressure belts are formed over both the hemispheres. But children, one thing you should understand, because of the elliptical shape of you can say the orbit, when the earth moves around its orbit, right, around the sun, when the earth is moving on its orbit around the sun, because of the shape of the orbit, during one particular period the earth, following the orbit, it goes towards upside, right? And when it goes towards upside, we feel that the sun is going down. Actually the sun is not going down, right? The sun is never shifting. It is the earth which follows the orbit, and in that orbit when it moves a little upside, we feel, because we are there on earth, we feel that the sun has gone down. Okay, that is called the apparent movement of the sun towards south. Same way, when following the equator, again the earth comes towards the other part of the orbit, right? Over the orbit, when the earth is moving down towards the other side, as it comes down, we feel that the sun has gone now upside. Okay, but again I'm repeating, the sun is not moving at all. It is just the apparent movement. It appears that the sun moves towards north and towards south, right? So when we are there on earth, when earth is present on the other side of the orbit and we have gone down along with earth, we feel that the sun has gone towards north, and this is called as the northern movement of the apparent movement of the sun towards north, right? Now what is the result of this movement? There is a little you can say shifting of the pressure belts. Children, if you remember, in the beginning we have discussed about the equatorial low pressure belt. Suppose this is yellow colored region is showing the equatorial low pressure belt. Okay, it is totally because of the direct sun rays which cause very high temperature conditions to develop. Okay, so as the sun moves towards the north, clear, we are having the summer season in the northern hemisphere, and you can say it is the summer solstice, right? 21st June is the summer solstice. During that particular day, the maximum movement of the sun is there towards north. Okay, so that is the day when you will find the maximum shift is there in the pressure belts. Towards which side? Towards north, because the sun has shifted towards north. Apparent movement of the sun is towards the north. Clear? Again, after the summer solstice, again the sun starts moving down, right? As it crosses the equator, it is getting the equinoxes, right? The 2 days are the equinoxes we are having, and these equinoxes we have the ideal conditions for all the pressure belts, right? Again, after the equinox, again the 23rd September, when the sun starts moving towards south, okay, apparent movement of the sun is towards the south. You can see your sun has shifted south, right? As the sun has shifted towards the south, naturally the pressure belt also shifts a little towards south. Okay, this is the equatorial low pressure belt. It starts shifting towards south. right? And as the equatorial low pressure belt starts shifting, the other pressure belts also shift a little. Okay, again after the winter solstice, you can see here 23rd, 22nd or 23rd of December, that is we are having the winter solstice. Okay, so that is the maximum limit of the movement of sun towards south, right? Over the Tropic of Capricorn, when the sun rays fall vertical, that is the maximum movement of sun towards south, and it is on the day when we have the winter solstice, 22nd or 23rd of December. After that particular day, sun starts shifting a little. Again, sun starts moving towards the north, right? As it moves towards north, again apparent movement towards north, it crosses the equator. So once again we experience the equinox here, right? And this equinox after December, what is the equinox coming then? It is 21st of March, right? So over equinox again we are getting all the pressure belts back to their actual positions. Again, as the sun starts moving towards the north, because of shifting of the sun, the pressure belts also shift towards north, right? So this way children, it keeps on going on and on always, right? And this creates the actual it has been observed that it creates a shifting of the pressure belts, right? Little bit towards north and again towards south, again towards north, again towards south, so it continues. Okay, and this shifting can be maximum almost till 5 degrees north or 5 degrees south. Clear? So this is actually called as the shifting of pressure belts. So what is the reason behind it now? I hope you have understood. The basic reason behind the shifting of pressure belts is the movement, the apparent movement. Always when you use the word movement of sun, you should use the word apparent, right? When we are talking of the movement of sun, because the sun never moves, right? It appears that it's moving. So for that you should use the word apparent movement of the sun towards north or south is the basic reason behind the shifting of pressure belts towards north and south. So this is all children. Now at the end I must remind you here that if this video is going to help you out anyhow in your studies or for your competitive exams purpose, if it is helping out anyhow, so don't forget to share the link with your friends and subscribe the channel. Okay, so don't forget to see the next video, because we are going to continue in the next video with the other topic, that is the winds, right? And the entire wind system, how it is created over the entire earth because of the pressure belts, right? So we are going to discuss that in the next video. Okay, till then, bye.